That night, I was completely wasted. I was walking out of the bar, while watching my feet when I noticed this incredibly beautiful girl standing alone at the end of the road. Yes, I said I was drunk, but I remember how she was getting closer and closer to me. I'm 20. I don't have a particularly exciting dating life. Why would I flee if a lovely female approached me? So I came near as well. If she was a thief, she had more than enough time to steal all of my belongings and run away, but she didn't. She was just a regular girl. A lovely lady. She had light ivory skin and fiery waves of auburn hair. She was stunning. She was aware that I was drunk and in need of help. I recall her leading me through this massive door, which led to her house maybe. It was probably around 10 o'clock at night. She assisted me in sitting on a couch and then left after bringing me a piece of paper. It was a notebook's paper. What exactly is this? I asked, because I was still drunk. I was stuttering. Read it, were the only two words I ever heard her say. She walked away. She abandoned me at a house I had never seen before. I did feel a little odd, but I wasn't terrified. I felt like I was in a very typical neighborhood because outside the window, I noticed other houses. I began reading the ripped notebook paper. Rules, it read. I'm quite sure it was the topic. There were about 5 bullet points throughout the paper. They were all rules for something. I was able to read the piece of paper in some way. Do not think of leaving this house until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Set an alarm and get out of the house sharp at 6 or else you will have to spend your life in this place forever. That was the first rule. It seemed strange. I knew there was something wrong. I had a gut feeling that if I left before or after 6 a.m., something terrible would happen. I kept reading the set of rules. 2. I have no idea what your name is, so if you hear your name being called at night, do not even think of answering. You will never return if you follow the voice. This started sending chills down my spine. This began to creep me out, even though I had no clue if this was a weird game that someone was playing. 3. If I tried to wake you up around 3 a.m., please do not wake up because it is not me who is waking you up, pretend you're asleep. The 4th rule was that I should never leave my bedroom. It stated how they despised it when people came downstairs after 12 a.m. Who were they? I was curious. Before proceeding to the 5th rule, I couldn't be in a strange area just because a piece of paper said so. But a part of me told me not to leave and to follow the instructions in the paper. I couldn't call anyone because my phone was dead. I was terrified now. Scared to death. I started reading the last rule, which was the first one repeated. Do not think of leaving the house. I was confused. I wasn't drunk anymore. I kept telling myself, nothing was going to happen, so I decided to go outside. One step outside, and the girl, the same girl who brought me into this place and gave me the rules, was standing in front of my face. She clasped my hand without saying anything. I tried to run away, but she injected me with something before I could do anything. The next thing I remember, I was alone on a bed in a dark room. This time, the scrap of notebook paper was plastered to my hand. The time on the clock next to my bed was 1 a.m. A light beam entered the room through a window, allowing me to view what was in the room. I was exhausted. I was dizzy, possibly as a result of what she injected. I began to consider what was written in the paper. I needed to rest my eyes, but I was too terrified to close them. I fell asleep without realizing it. After a while, I heard a knock on the door and someone calling my name. But the first thing that came to mind was what the regulations stated. As a result, I did not answer the door. After around 5 minutes, someone opened the door and came in. I heard a girl's voice, but I pretended I was asleep. That was the only thing on my mind at the time. The individual or whatever it was went out. I fell asleep. It was 6 a.m., and the alarm was really loud. I jumped out of bed and dashed out the door. Everything appeared to be normal. People were carrying out their usual activities. Everything appeared to be perfectly normal. I felt like I could sleep more while walking. I feel a cool breeze on my face and I suddenly wake up. It was all a dream, I realize. Every single thing I went through was a dream. I'm by the side of the road. I had dozed off here. The enormous clock tower read 1 a.m. I stood up. I was planning on returning home, when a figure appeared in front of me. It was her. The girl.